Gilbert U. 238, Atomic Energy Lab, United States, 1950. A toy company called A.C. Gilbert released a science kit for children. It came with real uranium ore samples, a working Geiger counter, and a small cloud chamber. The box promised the future of science, right on a kid's bedroom shelf. Parents saw education. The atomic age was new, exciting, and full of promise. A toy that let your child study radiation felt like a gift for a genius in training. But the hidden danger was simple. The samples inside were genuinely radioactive. Children handled real uranium ore with their bare hands, in their own homes, with no real safety warning attached. At the time, almost nobody feared radiation the way people do now. The bomb was recent. The science was thrilling. Nobody stopped to ask what years of exposure might mean for a child. The kit did not sell well, partly because of its high price, and it was pulled from shelves within a couple of years. Today, an original set is treated less like a toy and more like a hazardous artifact. The toy was supposed to teach children about the future. It accidentally taught them how little people feared radiation back then. Lawn darts, United States and other markets, 1970s into the 1980s. Lawn darts, sometimes called jarts, were sold as a simple backyard game for the whole family. Two teams, a patch of grass, metal-tipped darts thrown high into the air toward a ring on the ground. Families bought them for barbecues, birthdays, and long summer evenings. It looked like horseshoes with a twist. But the design carried a serious flaw. The darts were heavy, sharply pointed, and thrown almost straight up. When a throw went wrong, and throws often did, the dart came down like a small spike falling from the sky. Reports of injuries kept surfacing. Children were hit in the head. Some injuries were fatal. The pattern kept repeating in different states, in different backyards, until regulators stepped in. By the late 1980s, the toy was effectively banned for sale as a children's product in the United States. Decades of backyard fun ended because of one basic flaw nobody fixed early enough. It was sold as a family game. It fell like a weapon. Creepy crawlers, United States, 1960s into the 1970s. The Thingmaker system let kids pour liquid plastic, called Plastigoop, into small metal molds shaped like bugs and creatures. Then they placed the mold onto a heating unit that baked the shapes solid. Kids loved it. You could make your own rubbery spider or bug and show it off to friends. It felt like running a tiny factory in your bedroom. The hidden danger was heat, not chemicals. The metal molds reached very high temperatures, hot enough to cause real burns if a child touched them right after baking. Complaints and injury reports followed the toy for years. Manufacturers later redesigned the heating units and molds to lower the risk, but early versions had already burned plenty of curious fingers. The toy survived in updated form for decades, proof that a good idea can outlast its first dangerous version. The toy let kids make monsters by heating metal. The dangerous part was real. Clackers, United States, United Kingdom, and other markets, late 1960s into the 1970s. Clackers were two hard acrylic balls tied to a string with a handle in the middle. Kids swung them so the balls smacked together above and below their hand, over and over, faster and faster. The sound alone made the toy a hit in schoolyards everywhere. Click, clack, non-stop. But that same force caused the acrylic balls to crack after repeated hard impacts. When they shattered, fragments could fly outward at speed, toward the face or eyes of the person holding them. Reports of eye injuries and cuts pushed regulators and manufacturers to react. Some versions were pulled from shelves. Others were remade in softer materials that could not shatter the same way. The fun part of the toy and the dangerous part of the toy were the exact same motion. The sound that made the toy fun was the same force that made it dangerous. Sky dancers, United States and other markets, 1990s, with a major recall around the year 2000. Sky dancers were dolls with wing-like rotors attached to their arms. You pulled a string on the base, and the doll launched into the air, spinning and fluttering like a tiny fairy. The commercials made it look graceful, almost magical, a doll that could fly across the living room. In real homes, flight path was far less predictable. The doll often spun wildly off course, smashing into faces, hair, glasses, and nearby furniture at speed. Complaints of facial injuries, chipped teeth, and eye injuries built up quickly. The toy was recalled, with millions of units affected, and the company faced serious criticism over how it had been tested before release. The doll was supposed to fly like magic. It flew like a tiny helicopter, with no flight plan. Cabbage Patch Kids, Snack Time Kids. United States, 1996. This version of the popular doll came with a motorized mouth. Kids were supposed to feed it small plastic snacks, like pretend cookies and fries, and watch the doll chew. Parents saw a cute, interactive twist on a doll their kids already loved. The hidden danger was mechanical, not chemical. The doll's mouth mechanism could not tell the difference between a plastic snack and a child's finger, hair, or clothing. Reports came in of children getting fingers pinched hard, and in some cases, hair pulled into the mechanism and unable to release without help. The company pulled the doll from shelves and offered refunds after the complaints grew too large to ignore. The doll was designed to eat pretend snacks. It kept grabbing whatever came near its mouth. Magnetics magnetic building sets. United States and other markets early 2000s, with a major recall in 2006. Magnetics let children snap together small magnetic pieces and metal rods to build shapes, towers, and structures. It looked like a smart, creative building toy, the kind that made parents feel good about screen-free playtime. The danger was invisible until it was already inside a child's body. Small magnetic pieces could come loose and be swallowed. If more than one magnet was swallowed, they could pull toward each other through intestinal walls, pinching or tearing tissue from inside. This was not an ordinary choking hazard. Doctors had to learn to recognize a new kind of injury, one caused by magnets attracting each other through the body. Several children needed surgery. A major recall followed once the pattern became clear. The magnets looked tiny in the toy box. Inside the body, they became far more dangerous than that. Aquadots, sold in some places as bindees. Australia, the United States, and other international markets, 2007. Aquadots were small, colorful beads that children arranged into designs, then sprayed with water so the beads fused together into a picture. It looked like a simple, creative craft toy, popular enough to be named a top toy of the year in some markets. But testing later found that a coating chemical on the beads could convert, once swallowed and processed by the body, into a substance with effects similar to a date rape drug. Children who swallowed the beads became seriously ill. Some fell into comas. The recall spread across multiple countries within days, pulling millions of units from stores almost overnight. The toy only became dangerous if it entered a child's mouth. That was exactly the risk built into a toy made for children. Mattel CSI Fingerprint Examination Kit, United States, 2007. Riding the popularity of forensic crime shows, this kit let kids dust surfaces for fingerprints just like television investigators, using a special powder and brush. Parents saw an educational toy tied to real forensic science, something that felt smarter than the average action figure. Testing later found asbestos fibers inside the fingerprint powder itself. A material long linked to serious lung disease had made its way into a box marketed as safe, educational fun for children. The discovery triggered public concern and calls for stronger testing standards on children's science kits going forward. The kit was sold to teach science. The powder taught a much darker lesson. Water beads. United States and international markets, 2010s into the 2020s. Water beads are tiny beads that swell dramatically after soaking in water, often sold for sensory play, decoration, or calming activities for children. They felt harmless, soft, colorful, and satisfying to squeeze, the kind of toy parents handed over without much thought. The danger appeared when young children swallowed them. Once inside the body, the beads could keep absorbing fluid and expand, creating blockages that were difficult for doctors to spot on standard scans. Emergency rooms began reporting cases requiring surgery to remove expanded beads from a child's digestive system. Public warnings and recalls followed as awareness of the risk grew. The beads looked too small to matter. That was exactly why they were dangerous. Hoverboards, United States and international markets, 2015 into 2016. Hoverboards became one of the most wanted holiday gifts almost overnight, a self-balancing board that made riders feel like they were floating. Everyone wanted one. Retailers sold out fast, and the toy became a symbol of that entire holiday season. The hidden danger was inside the battery, not under the wheels. Many boards used cheap, poorly built lithium-ion battery packs. Reports surfaced of boards smoking, sparking, or bursting into flame, sometimes while charging overnight in a bedroom. Airlines banned them from flights. Retailers pulled unsafe models. Fire departments issued warnings as house fires linked to the boards made headlines. The toy did not need to be ridden to be dangerous. Sometimes it caught fire while doing nothing at all. Super elastic bubble plastic. United States and other markets, mid-20th century onward. This toy let kids squeeze colorful goo from a tube onto the end of a straw, then blow it into a stretchy balloon-like bubble. It felt inventive and strange in the best way, a toy that turned goo into something you could actually blow up like a balloon. The hidden danger was chemical. The formula relied on strong solvents to keep the material flexible enough to stretch and blow. Over time, concerns grew about the fumes, the flammability, and repeated exposure through skin contact and inhalation. The toy survived across generations in different forms, a reminder that some products feel completely normal in one era and alarming by the standards of another. Children were not just blowing bubbles, they were blowing up a toy made of fumes. Toys are supposed to be the safest objects in a child's world. That is exactly why dangerous toys are remembered so differently from other failed products. People expect danger from weapons, fire, and heavy machinery. They do not expect it from a birthday gift, a holiday present, or a box marked "Safe for Children." That is what made these 12 toys unforgettable, for all the wrong reasons.